办这样类似的活动，去年是第1次，这也是变成我们一个 culture， 因为我觉得我们教会里有很多非常优秀的孩子，也是很蒙神的恩典，他们在各方面都很优秀。那么他们高中毕业，今年高中毕业以后，他们有很多非常 fresh 的那个 insight experience。如果在这时候能够让他们跟我们未来的高中生、毕业生，跟现在的初中生、小学生一起分享，我相信这个要比我们可能父母跟他们要讲的可能会有效的多，因为孩子跟孩子之间的 communication， 我觉得从我自己个人的经验来说，可能比父母跟孩子更有效一点，所以很想 leverage 这个平台，这个 channel 能够 benefit 我们中文北堂中文学校以后的毕业生。那也很欢迎父母今天也有时间一起来，因为我觉得父母在这方面的关心程度可能比我们的孩子更急迫、更需要。所以今天我们是这样，这个形式很free。孩子们，我也告诉每个孩子都不用准备长篇大论，因为他们的 schedule 也很忙。那我就想在我们开始以前呢，我们先请他们自己做个简短的介绍，自己的名字高中是哪一个高中毕业的，或者是要去什么大学。然后我们今天也很 fortunately 请来2位已经在校的 college student， 他们还没有毕业 ，college 还没有毕业，但是他们已经在读大2。他们也很愿意利用这段时间来跟我们讲一下他们那个这大学2年的一些新的发现，有什么不同的地方跟高中，然后希望能够大家可以借鉴。那芬迪是跟我一个团契的，今天他是临时给我抓来的，他原来是来做听众，我说不行，你要帮助我一起做这个 host。那我们因为是 panel discussion， 所以我们就是芬迪和我就是可以一起 ask 一些 question，inspire 一些 idea， 然后我们可以 parent 也可以一起来提问，然后我们的 speaker 他们在前面，他们都可以share 他们的自己的 unique experience， 他们自己的一些 insight 给我们大家。那我想这个我们就1个到3点钟，所以时间也不是很充裕，但是能够利用这段时间，能够让他们口中所出的每一句话，都希望能够造就我们的孩子和我们的家长。谢谢大家。那我们就从 Jennifer 先开始，好不好？自我介绍一下，大家给他们掌声鼓励。
我叫 Jennifer， 我也是 speak English，
English 可能
English okay. I can do bilingual, guys.
Is anybody want to prefer Chinese raise hand or English? I think English probably will be a lot easier for our students, and hopefully it's easier for some of our parents and students as well. Okay, because I'm worried about some middle school student may not.
My name is Jennifer Ma. I go to Northview High School, and I'm going to University of Chicago in the fall.
Jennifer has been volunteer 4 years, maybe even more, in our Chinese ACCC and Chinese school. Every Sunday between 12:30 and 1:30, no matter how busy she is, she came here, helping many of teachers, helping me greatly, and I know she helping our formal principals and many other co-workers. And seeing her leaving for college, it's very happy for her, but sad for me because I really lost a very good, effective, and a very nice co-workers. So, but wish her the best. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Donna Guo, and I'm graduating from Northview High School this year. Next year, I'm also going to attend the University of Chicago.
Oh, hi, I'm Kevin. I'm a sophomore at Carnegie Mellon University.
I'm Callie, and I go to EGA. So.
We still have one speaker, another speaker just called me. His name is Jeffrey Wang, and from 林前团契 and he is the graduate. He has to preparing for the graduation because he's going to as a student council president to give the speech in the graduation. So he apologized for us and he couldn't didn't have any time this afternoon. He actually agreed to come, but the last minute and pulled away. So, but we're just very happy for him, and what I have been told, he got accepted by 3 universities, and Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. And he is truly the highest. I'm very proud. I mean, I think the whole church faculty and everybody is extremely proud of his great accomplishment. And one day I think we're going to have him back to talk to us and even his parents to see what they did and to raise wonderful kids like that. I do have another high school graduates on the way, and mom was trying to find him. And he also going to go to Carnegie Mellon. I don't really know which high school he graduated. Do you know, Kevin? He's from Northview. Northview also? Okay. So, and he's just another wonderful student. I happen to know because when mom and dad took him, went to Carnegie, met Kevin, and they finally lobbied him enough to make the choice between NYU and the Carnegie. So he chose the Carnegie. So we are very proud of him as well. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to have Fanny and I. We're going to start. And seriously, this is so open forum. Parents, feel free. Any question in your mind, and a high school student, especially I see a couple of high school students, and even middle school students. If you have any question in mind, asking. You can't get a better teacher than what they sit in front of you. Okay, so all right, so let's get started.
Let's get started. We have questions. So the question will go out for a specific person and also have open discussions. We'll go from Kelly first.
Jennifer. Yeah, you want to come here?
Jennifer first. Yeah. We'll go from Jennifer first because she's just graduated, is a fresh grad, and so the question to Jennifer is, in the process in the high school, what is the benefit you get from, first, did you get any outside tutoring, and what kind of benefit you get from the outside tutoring?
Like outside tutoring, do you mean in class or SAT prep?
In the class or outside the class, the preparation for SAT and the preparation for your AP class, all those preparations. It's a not really school-taught class. It's outside tutorings.
Well, for like regular classes, like AP classes and honors classes, like you just have to do the material in the book, and if you need help, there's usually just like people around you that can help you. But for tutoring, like SAT, ACT, math, and stuff like that, like it really does sort of help in the very end. Like it's better for you to study by yourself for maybe like 6 months, and the very last like 3 months, like sprint towards the finish line with like some serious hardcore studying with like a really good tutor. And so like that really helped me at least. I mean, I like did one-on-one with a tutor for SAT prep for like 2 months, I think, and I raised my score up by quite a lot, I think. Yeah.
So did you recommend taking the SAT preparation test early, or did you recommend taking it right around your like last year, the year you're going to take the test?
Like whenever you think it'd be best for you, but I took it January of junior year and June of junior year. So like do it junior year. If you senior year, you're going to be swamped with a lot of work. So I would recommend senior year fall, well, unless you really want to boost your score up by a few hundred more points, or if you think you can do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. The second question goes to Donna. And I can't see the name. Donna, the question for you is on AP classes. And how many AP classes did you take? And do you think it worth the effort to take all the AP classes, and or do you just stay in your regular class, get the highest score in your regular class? What's your opinion? What's your take during your experience?
Well, I took one AP class my sophomore year, and then I took 4 junior year, and depending on how you count it, 4, 5, or 6 this year. But it was like 4 classes per semester. I think you have to find what you are comfortable doing, because I know friends who took 5 AP classes every year, or junior and senior year, and didn't have to study very much, and that was fine for them. For me, 4 classes per semester was definitely my limit. I don't think I could have taken any more than that, and I guess for some it's 3 or 2 maybe. So I think it really depends on what your schedule is, how many extracurriculars you have. But I would have to say, if you have some extracurricular that you've been working on for a long time, maybe you play an instrument and you're really, really good at it, and you don't want to give that up just to take another AP class, I mean, it's okay if you just take 3 instead of 4. You don't have to take like 6 every year. I mean, but I also don't recommend just taking, straight regular classes throughout 4 years of high school, because that's just taking the slack route. So you still have to show that, you want to take hard classes.
So you started taking APs in juniors, sophomore, right? Did the AP classes really help you in terms of applying for the college?
Well, I have to say that I think colleges definitely look for AP classes if your school offers them, and especially if you go to a good high school that offers a lot of AP classes, it looks better if you have taken at least a decent number of AP courses.
Next question is to Kevin. Kevin, you have been staying in the CMU for a year, and during your initial years, what do you think is best beneficial for you when you were at high school? What the preparation you did is very beneficial for you when you stayed in the college?
Well, taking challenging classes in high school is obviously going to help you in college, because college classes in general are a lot harder than high school classes. I mean, as a person, I didn't really work all that hard in high school. I'll be honest with you, I didn't. So, coming from a guy who never really worked in high school to Carnegie Mellon's the workload's very tough at Carnegie Mellon. I learned really quickly that you can't just coast by. You really have to start your homework early. You've got to be on top of things. If you know you can't do the material, you've got to find help. You can ask your friends. You can ask the people, your professors. You have to get help immediately if you don't understand what's going on. I mean, that's all I can say is you should develop good study habits in high school, because it did take me a little while for me to adjust, but now, I'm doing well. That's about it. So challenging classes like AP classes, maybe IB if your school offers it, will definitely best prepare you for college. I mean, that's most comparable to college workloads.
Thank you, Kevin. And the next question is to Patty. And question to you guys, when you applying for all these colleges, and what in your experience when you did this, what the college is looking for, what kind of quality they're looking for to accepting the candidates?
I'm not the admissions processes are really it's really weird, and some people get in that you're I don't think they should have gotten in, but it's just weird how they do it. But I think the most important thing is having your kid get involved in their school. It's really important to show that you have other interests besides just academics, because a school is yeah, they want people good at academics and studying whatever, but it's also important for them to be involved in their community and just engaging in other things, so that shows that they have a wide variety of skills, and just leadership is really, really important. There's like a whole section on like every single application that'll be like, what clubs are you in, what are you involved in, and what are your leadership positions in it. So if your kids are like sophomores or juniors, now would be a pretty good time to start looking at getting involved in clubs and just like trying to get those leadership positions, whatever they may be. So.
And especially we're talking about leadership a lot. In a college, when you actually go to the college, do you demonstrate the leadership during your daily college life?
Like within your clubs or just like in general?
Do you join clubs?
Yeah, like right now I'm probably involved in like 6-ish clubs, and like freshman year I just kind of was like in the club and just kind of figuring out how everything works, and but for next year I'm doing like HTA position, which is the honors teaching assistant, and like I'm doing like treasurer for our swim club. So it's like you just kind of have to figure out your way freshman year, sophomore year. If it's something, you choose what you want. Like it's really important with time management, because if you take on too much, then your grades will start slipping. So it's important to find that balance between academics and extracurricular activities, and just yeah, kind of finding your footsteps like freshman year, sophomore year, choosing what you want to focus on, and then getting those leadership positions as you get older.
Thank you, Kelly. Come back question to Jennifer. Jennifer, I know Northfield is a very competitive school, and the scores is very important. In your high school year, do you participate any extracurriculums such as like musicals and sports or dancing? If you do, how do you manage your time?
Well, like I took a lot of APs during my high school year, and I wish I didn't take so many and concentrated a lot on more extracurricular stuff. Like I took 3 sophomore year, 5 junior year, and 5 senior year. And like I wish I didn't do that, because I wish like I did more clubs and stuff, because like for ranking at Northview High School, it's really like tough to get ranked in the very top. Like I barely inched my way into the top 5%. I was right there. So, but at Northview High School, it's like everybody wants a club position. So they usually have like so many people competing for like president of this one club. They have like co-presidents and co-vice presidents just to give everybody positions sometimes. And like, you know, you make your own clubs to give yourself a position. It's like a really weird atmosphere in Northview High School. And so there's always people like competing for it. So if you are serious about getting a position, you have to like concentrate really, really hard throughout freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, like build up your base, like, you know the right people, and like be, I don't know, friendly and popular with everybody, and able to make that way. Like I was involved with debate, station debate, tutoring, and I think a lot beta, NHS, like volunteer clubs like that. And so like freshman year is like the year where you would join a lot of clubs, and then sophomore year is like you weed your clubs out, like find your ones you really, really like and the ones you want to stay with. And junior year is like when you start like, you know, lobbying for positions and like, you know, like finding leadership positions. And so like it's really good to start freshman year and like build your base up throughout those 4 years of high school.
Thank you, Jennifer. Donna, questions is almost forward questions. For you, we have talked about the AP classes for you. If you ever go back and redo, do you will take less APs as what Jennifer was referring, or you think what you have is the right amount of APs, and how do you for those students still in the high school, do you have any advice to them? How do they know what is the right amount of AP class they have to take?
I think that's a really hard question because I think that really differs from person to person. Personally, I took 4 APs junior year, but they were 4 really difficult APs. I guess I might consider not taking one of those really hard APs, but then at the same time, I think it was a very valuable experience because it forced me to really time manage, and I'd never taken such a hard class load before because I went from all honors 1 AP to all APs. But I think what I guess not so much in APs, but I was sort of scattered in my extracurricular involvement. I think I did a few too many things, and I might not have done some things as well as I could have. So I do recommend what Jennifer says, which is, maybe starting out by trying more clubs, but then really you need to decide what you're most interested in, and I think it's bad to decide on what looks good if you don't care about it, because you'll always put more effort into what you think, what you care about.
Colleges can see right through you.
Yeah.
Those,
So,
resume pumping up clubs.
Yeah, I think one organization I was really involved in was an outside of school organization, and it was just for adopted children, so I put a lot of time into that organization. That was one that I really cared about, and so I eventually became one of the program directors. So it's important to find things that you really care about, things like that.
Thank you, Jenna. Kevin, there are a lot of, actually in this room, there's some middle schoolers in this room, and they are looking up to college students. And we talk about a lot time management. And you also mentioned when you were in the school, you didn't really study too hard. And if you get a chance to mentor those youngsters, and what advice you will give to them in terms of how to manage their time, and in terms of how to really focus on the work, and how in terms of volunteer your times to help the society, what kind of advice you're going to give to them?
Well, I guess the one big advice that I give to the younger kids is you're never going to have as much time as you do now. The time that I had in high school and middle school, I'll never get that time back. And once you go to college, even after that, you'll be tied up with other things. You have a lot of other things to do. You won't have time to do things that you truly love to do. So, right now, if you're in middle school or if you're in high school, you should focus not only on academics, but do the things you really, really love to do, because you won't necessarily get to do them or get to do them as much, later on in life. I feel like everyone should volunteer, in their society and in their community. It's harder to do that in college, with the workload and other stuff. But that's about it. I tell them not to make the same mistakes as I made, like any parent would tell their kids. But yeah, just manage your time. Do well in school, do well in other things besides school.
Thank you, Kevin. Kelly, what kind of, because we have, when kids go into high school, the kids also went through this mentality because they start knowing a little bit more than parents, and they have this rebelling thought in their mind. And what kind of advice you will give in terms of you already go through this phase, and what kind of advice you will give to those kids in terms of do well in school and respecting parents and in that nature?
Okay, that's one question. I think for the kids, your parents have the best interest in mind for you, so everything they say, sometimes it'll seem like, oh, they're just criticizing me.
Yeah.
But they like take everything with a grain of salt, and sometimes they don't mean to say it the way that it sounds like. But you in high school, you pave your path for the next phase of your life, which is college. And if you get bad grades and if you don't do well, you're kind of screwing yourself over for the next phase. So in your best interest for yourself, like, do what makes you happy. Make sure that like, grades are really important, but like what we've all been stressing is extracurriculars, and like it'll be a lot easier to concentrate on schoolwork and like manage your time well if you have other things too. Like, I swam year round with Kevin, freshman and sophomore year. We swam like 3 hours, 3 hours-ish? Yeah, 3 hours every day. So I knew that I had to get my work done by, practice was at 7. Yeah, we still remember that. I had to get all my work done by 7 o'clock because I knew when I came back from practice I'd be exhausted. So just with the parents, like, listen to them. I'll say that. Listen to your parents. But just take everything with a grain of salt, and just realize that everything that you're doing is for your own best interest and is preparing you for the future.
Thank you, Kelly. And Kelly is especially dear to me also because she's studying my Chinese class. And I can tell you between my son Kevin and Kelly, Kelly definitely an A student. Yeah, much help she gave to Kevin. Without that, Kevin probably wouldn't be able to graduate. I have another high school graduate just joined us, and welcome. His name is Wu Tianyi, and I happen to know his mom also here, and in Huaining. She's from our church, and when they were just talking, and I find out his son is a graduate from Northview, right? And also be admitted by multiple very good school. And Huaining came to my office saying, Joanne, I think we're going to visit Carnegie, and I said, great, let me give you my son's name because he's there. And I talked to Kevin. Kevin said, great, I'm going to get him into a college. So Tianyi is officially make his decision, I hope, right? And he is, guess what? He is going to Carnegie. So now I'm going to ask Tianyi some tough questions, because Ms. Fendi already asking all the other panelists the tough questions, so it's now my turn to ask. Tianyi, so I understand that you applied to multiple schools because I know the result, you have been admitted to multiple schools. What drives you to select those schools? What you think your qualifications and how you determine this is the right fit for you?
Well, basically, like every colleges have like a set range of GPA and SAT, and also that depends. That's what basically sets what kind of qualifications you need, and also you need to see what you want to do in the future. For example, if you want to do computer science, Carnegie Mellon is definitely a choice for you. So basically, first you want to see what you want to do first, and then based on what you want to do, you need to look at the requirements of each school to see whether or not you get in. So basically, I more or less made my decisions on schools that focus more on business, because that's what I want to do, or schools that are more like well-rounded generally. So basically, just in case I don't want to do business, I can still choose another major, just with as much ease.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm kind of going to open up, but now the next question I have, and open to all the parents too, and high school students as well, because I know you probably have a lot of questions in your mind. So the question I have next is open to all panelists. Seriously, I mean, there will be no, you can answer to anything you feel about how you tackle this particular problem, or you tackle this challenge, because I know you haven't gone through the college applications 2 years ago. It's truly a maze. It's a maze. It's like you just like have overwhelming information. The college brochures and the packets and whatever you got like every day you're filling your mailbox. And you don't really know where to start, other than I decided to get a copy paper box, like those printed copy paper. I just put all those letters into a box and Kevin go read them. And before I even know it, that package just fill up the whole box and he never read any of them. So, I'm asking the panelists, you must go through the same, because I just don't think that this will be unique to Kevin, because I know you probably received overwhelming, almost you name the college, they probably have a letter in your those kind of copy for the box. And how you sort through finding these things in those pile of information and the spot, because I know the time is so precious, you can't possibly read through every single college information and be able to say, okay, I choose the first 10 or last 10 or middle 10, whatever it is. And they said, what is your strategy? And how to find the quickest path to get to the dream school you wanted to go to. And any insight to share with our audience?
I can say it. I'll start. I think it's really important. It depends on your kid. I have a couple of friends who looked at small schools. I have friends that looked at just large schools, and that's a big part of a campus is how big it is. So UGA is ginormous, and I knew that I wanted to go to a big school because I thrive in situations where I can meet all different kind of people. So I think that you need to look at if you want a small, medium, or large school and kind of look there. What he was saying with fields of interest, if you are terrible at math, don't go to Georgia Tech. If you man, science is not my thing. That's me. Can't do science, chemistry, not my thing. Don't go to Georgia Tech. Don't do it. But if you're oh, business, no, I want to do engineering, you should look at those schools. Carnegie Mellon's good at engineering, isn't it? So fields of interest are really, really important. Location, it doesn't really seem that big of a thing, but it's pretty I knew that I wanted to be in a city, a good music city, because that's really what I'm interested in, and Athens is a really good music town. So location is really important too. I don't know, those three things for me was yeah, because I knew I didn't want to do engineering or anything, so I knew I wanted to do business. So right now I'm accounting, and I knew that UGA had a good business program. So
I guess I'll answer. Yeah, pretty much everything Callie said. I'm just gonna add on a little bit. You can look up, SAT requirements or whatever scores you want to, location, what they're good at. You can look at all that stuff, online, but you can't get a feeling of what this school atmosphere is actually unless you go there. Unless you go there and you walk with the students and see what everyday life is like. When I visited Carnegie Mellon, it seemed really cool, lots of different people, from everywhere. It's a pretty small school, small campus. You don't need a car, you can walk everywhere. Yeah, it was just, you see lots of different people, working together, doing stuff, and that's something that I want to be a part of. So that's the one thing that I think everyone should do is once you narrow your school search down to a couple schools, maybe take the time to visit it, get a feel for what the atmosphere is like.
Well,